Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It's October 9, 2023, Monday at 12:39 p.m. I have a little license of free music playing in the background, but you can hear that it's very distorted because the criminals got into my sound. I guess they don't want me recording things. So it's vibrating. I've done a check on the laptop, and everything checks out just fine. So they obviously did something, but here we are, targets. It's me, you, and everyone. Some of us more than others. So I'd like to read, before I do, hit the thumbs up. Helps the channel grow, get the message out there. A lot of YouTube creators, even the ones with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, have been complaining that their subscribers have been unintentionally unsubscribed, that the algorithms are not getting their message out there. So if it's happening to them, you know very well it's happening to somebody like me. But I'm going to read a question and comment. Question and comment made by an individual on Quora. And I like to go there because some individuals leave some really great answers to the questions. But also I just wanted to mention that yesterday, the travel and TI testimony, there may be a second part to it, so perhaps we'll stitch it together into one video. I'm not sure. I received a message last night that she wasn't finished with it, and I reread the message, and I'm not sure. But either way, we can weave them together, to make one video, or we'll just add another video for the other portion. So anyway, the question on Quora is, what drives gang stalkers to torment individuals relentlessly? What are their motives for power, control, and the psychological manipulation techniques they employ? So the response is from a chaplain psychologist, and this is dated September 17. And he goes on to write, unmasking the dark web of gang stalking, a battle for civil rights and human dignity. Gang stalking, a malevolent manifestation of organized psychological harassment, has loomed in the shadows for far too long. This cruel tactic involves a sinister alliance of individuals working in concert to relentlessly stalk and torment their chosen target. But what do gang stalkers truly desire? Beneath the layers of intimidation, surveillance, and manipulation lies a thirst for power and control over their victims that reaches deep into the realms of psychology, politics, and human behavior. Friedrich Nietzsche, the renowned German philosopher, once delved into the concept of the will to power, quote unquote. He theorized that humans possess an innate and fervent drive to dominate and shape their surroundings. In the world of gang stalking, this philosophy is tragically put into practice. Perpetrators, often propelled by an insatiable hunger for supremacy, employ tactics that systematically dismantle the lives of their victims. Through physical, emotional, and psychological suffering, gang stalkers drive a twisted satisfaction that feeds their insatiable appetite for control. However, gang stalkers don't merely stop at personal dominion. They often yearn for political power, albeit in a covert manner. Their influence extends to manipulating public sentiment, gathering intelligence, and establishing intricate networks of connections. The arsenal of a gang stalker may include the dissemination of disinformation, acts of blackmail and extortion, and menacing threats, all designed to bend society to their will. Remarkably, the power coveted by gang stalkers isn't limited to the physical realm. It traverses the metaphysical boundaries into the realm of spiritual control. As M. Scott Peck, a distinguished mental health expert, aptly put it, there are two kinds of power: political power and spiritual power. Political power is control over people and resources. Spiritual power is control over oneself. Gangstalkers aim to wrest control over their own thoughts and emotions, and by extension, their victims' minds. This quest for spiritual dominance can manifest in various ways, from paranoia and obsessions to futile attempts to manipulate others' behavior. In the end, gangstalkers relentlessly pursue power and control over their victims, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for intimidation, surveillance, manipulation, and even physical violence become their tools to cast victims into a state of perpetual fear and anxiety, all in the name of asserting their dominance. This lust for power transcends the tangible and delves into the ethereal. It intertwines with the core of the gangstalker's psyche. As the darkness of gangstalking continues to encroach on the lives of its victims, it becomes imperative to expose these heinous practices for what they are, as an effort to civil rights, affront to civil rights and human dignity. The connection to fusion centers, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, the local law enforcement agencies cannot be ignored. These entities intended to safeguard society must be vigilant in preventing their resources from falling into the hands of those who use them for nefarious purposes. Psychological manipulation techniques are the insidious tools of the trade for gangstalkers. They employ these techniques to inflict emotional and psychological distress on their targets. Some of their most common methods include gaslighting, where victims are made to doubt their own reality, isolation, which leaves the victims feeling utterly alone and vulnerable, and coercive control, which systematically erodes a person's autonomy. In conclusion, the battle against gangstalking, it's a battle for civil rights, human rights, and the sanctity of all human spirit. As concerned citizens, it is our duty to shine a light on this dark web of torment, to expose the connections to fusion centers, DHS, and local law enforcement, and to demand accountability from those who should protect us. In the words of Edmund Burke, quote, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing," unquote. We must not be silent witnesses to this grave injustice. It is time to take action. Contact your elected officials, reach out to journalists, and collaborate with human and civil rights organizations. Together, we can raise awareness, demand investigations, and put an end to the scourge of gangstalking. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., quote, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere," unquote. Let us stand together and ensure that justice prevails, even in the face of this insidious threat to our civil and human rights. And who are targets? Me, you, everyone. Land, neuro rights, women, men, intellectual property, kiddos, pets, animals. Me, you, everyone. Everyone needs to be aware and wake up. Wake up that your tax dollars are funding these state-sponsored, insidious programs to target innocent people, feeding the sadistic urges of your local stalkers. Call them gang stalkers, call them stalkers, call them peeping Toms, peeping Janes, trespassers, psychopaths, sociopaths, addicts. Stalkers are addicted. They're addicts. They have an obsession and a compulsion. They wake up thinking about all the ways that they can hurt their victim. That means that they are obsessed and they're addicts. They need help. They need psychological help. But usually by the time they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, they're gone. They are personality disordered. They can be narcissists, malignant narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, all the personality disorders, because they are stuck at the emotional maturity and the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old trapped in an adult body. You couple the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old trapped in the body of a 40-year-old with low intelligence and low level of consciousness is a recipe for disaster. The real domestic terrorists are these creatures. They need to be wiped from the planet. And they're being weaponized against the regular folks for speaking out. Keep speaking out, folks. Write to your local officials. Many of them have a website where you can actually type in a form on their website. Just make a copy of it for yourself with the date that you sent it. You can call and leave a message on their voicemail. I've done it before. Flood the phones. Do one thing every day. I know it's difficult, but today's Columbus Day. Oh yeah, Columbus. Yeah, Columbus founded America. What about the Native Americans that they stole the land from? That's a whole nother topic for another day. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading, exposing one criminal at a time.